No one saw this coming. Just when it looked like Nina was about to cross the line for a second time and inject Brennan with that paralytic drug again, everything changed in 1 second. Brennan opened his eyes, and I swear, the look on Nina's face said everything: panic, shock, guilt, maybe even regret. Because instead of finishing the job, Nina stopped. She backed away. And if you ask me, that single decision may have accidentally doomed Brennan even more than the injection ever could have. Right now, on screen, everyone believes Brennan suffered a stroke. That's the story floating around. Brennan is lying in that hospital bed, weak, vulnerable, barely moving. But guys, I do not believe this situation is as simple as General Hospital wants us to think. Not even close. Because Brennan still feels too aware, too calm, too controlled, and the biggest red flag for me, he keeps pretending. That's the part people are overlooking. Brennan is still acting like the stroke victim role matters, which tells me he and Nina probably had some kind of arrangement long before things spiraled this far. It seems that Brennan wanted this fake condition to buy time for something bigger. Maybe to trap somebody. Maybe to expose somebody. Maybe to survive long enough to disappear completely. And honestly, the second Nina refused to inject him again, the entire game shifted. Because now Brennan is technically alive, but exposed. Before this, Nina had control of the narrative. Brennan was weak. Brennan was supposedly dying. Brennan could be hidden behind medical chaos. But once Nina hesitated, she opened the door to something way more dangerous. Other enemies now have access to Brennan too. And that is where this whole thing starts getting scary. We already know Nina is not the only threat circling Brennan. There's Cullum, there's Sidwell, and probably people we haven't even seen move their pieces yet. That's why I keep thinking this fake stroke storyline could secretly become a real death storyline. Not because Nina wanted Brennan gone anymore, but because somebody else may finish what Nina stopped. And let's talk about Nina for a second, because I think her confession to Willow changed everything too. Nina admitting she never injected Brennan the second time was huge. Willow looked completely stunned. You could see it all over her face. Because Willow instantly realized Nina was gambling with everybody's lives now, not just Brennan's. Once Nina chose mercy, she also chose uncertainty. And uncertainty is deadly in Port Charles. I honestly think Nina probably told Willow far more than we saw on screen. There's a strong chance Nina revealed parts of the secret plan between her and Brennan. Maybe the fake stroke. Maybe the fake death possibility. Maybe Brennan's larger scheme, because Willow's reaction felt deeper than simple shock. It almost felt like Willow suddenly understood how massive this mess really is. And for one brief moment, it seemed like Willow was relieved too. Like maybe Brennan surviving meant disaster had been avoided. But guys, I think the exact opposite may happen. Because the more I think about it, the more suspicious Cullum becomes in all of this. Cullum does not strike me as somebody who blindly trusts appearances. This guy moves carefully. Quietly, he watches everything. And if he even remotely suspects Nina and Brennan are setting him up, there is no chance he simply walks away satisfied with hospital reports and fake tears. That's where my theory starts getting dark. Imagine this. Nina spreads the story that Brennan is dead or near death. Maybe doctors are bribed. Maybe Brennan takes some temporary drug that slows his heart enough to fake a medical collapse. Honestly, in soap world, that kind of thing is absolutely possible. We've seen crazier. Nina and Brennan could genuinely believe they're outsmarting everybody. But what if Cullum expects that? What if he prepares for it? That's the part I cannot shake. Because if Cullum thinks Brennan is playing dead to trap him, then Cullum would want absolute proof. Real proof. Not medical charts. Not monitors. Not declarations from hospital staff. A body. A guaranteed death. And what if Cullum secretly creates that guarantee himself? Guys, I seriously think there's a possibility Cullum injects Brennan with another substance entirely. Something Nina never planned for. Something Brennan never sees coming. A real poison. Fast. Silent. Undetectable at first. That would be the ultimate twist. Nina believes she saved Brennan by refusing the second injection, but in reality, her hesitation leaves Brennan vulnerable long enough for Cullum to strike for real. And suddenly, the fake death becomes an actual death. That's the kind of tragic irony General Hospital loves. The closer I look at this storyline, the more it feels like Brennan is standing on the edge of disaster without realizing it. Because pretending to be weak only works when your enemies underestimate you. But Cullum doesn't feel careless to me. He feels paranoid, calculating, dangerous. And paranoia makes people lethal, especially when they think they're being manipulated. Now add Sidwell into this mess, and things become even worse. Sidwell has already shown he plays long games. If Brennan disappears permanently, Sidwell benefits too. Which means Brennan may have multiple enemies unknowingly moving toward the same outcome at the exact same time. That is why I'm starting to wonder if Brennan's hospital bed is basically a ticking clock now. Every visitor becomes suspicious. Every nurse becomes suspicious. Every injection suddenly matters. And the craziest part? Brennan himself might believe he's winning right now. He may think the fake stroke performance is fooling everybody. He may think Nina protected him. Meanwhile, the walls could already be closing in around him. I also keep thinking about Nina emotionally. Because if Brennan actually dies after she chose not to inject him again, the guilt would destroy her completely. Nina would replay that moment forever. She would wonder if finishing the original plan would have actually kept Brennan safer than showing mercy did. That's brutal soap opera writing right there. Saving somebody only to accidentally place them directly in the path of something worse. And if Brennan really is heading toward an exit storyline, this setup honestly fits. There's no official confirmation whatsoever that Brennan is leaving General Hospital. None. This is just speculation. Just theory. But the pieces are lining up in a way that feels hard to ignore. The fake illness. The hidden plan. The enemies closing in. Nina's hesitation. Cullum's growing suspicion. It all feels like pressure building before a huge explosion. And I keep coming back to one question. Why would General Hospital spend so much time showing Nina stopping that second injection unless that choice was going to have enormous consequences later? That scene mattered a lot because now the audience knows Nina tried to save Brennan, which means if Brennan dies afterward, the tragedy hits even harder. Nina won't be remembered as the woman who killed Brennan. She'll be remembered as the woman who almost saved him. Almost, and in soaps, almost is usually where the heartbreak lives. So now, I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe Brennan is actually safe right now? Or do you think Cullum is already 10 steps ahead? Because honestly, the more I connect these dots, the more I think Brennan could be heading toward the other side because of actions Nina never even saw coming. And if that happens, nobody in Port Charles is walking away from the fallout untouched. Leave your thoughts below, and we'll see where this madness goes next.